way I would characterize North Philly now is a neighborhood in flux. We have a lot of unemployment. We have a lot of violence. We live in a food desert. For me, a vacant lot in a food desert, in a neighborhood of people who've been abused and bullied and traumatized, to me, that's a beautiful canvas.
I'm Stevie Van Horn, and I'm a climate and social justice activist. We're here at North Philly Peace Park to join Tommy Joshua and the Peace Park volunteers, who are on a mission to provide healthy, accessible food for their neighborhood. So tell me, what is Peace Park?
Peace Park is a neighborhood hub for education, for food, and for crucial mutual aid.
So when did you start Peace Park?
Formally, the Peace Park started February 26, 2012, and it started with calling a meeting of my friends, my comrades, my neighbors, and we got together. We started cleaning up. We loved each other's company. We appreciated the impact. The neighbors appreciated it, so we figured out, let's just keep on meeting.
Yep.
And that was how the Peace Park got started. The Peace Park seeks to intentionally address critical needs of the community, right? Can the folks in the neighborhood come together and decide their own priorities? Because all this is in the same family. The kales, the collards, the broccolis, even cabbage, that's part of the same group. We want people to see stuff go into the ground as seeds, grow over a period. We want to teach them how to harvest the plants, be with the plants, cook the plants, and all of that good stuff. Access to healthy food, creating jobs, food distribution, all of this contributes to the recovery of the spirit of the community that has been so crushed by centuries of trauma. I mean, just a simple lesson of planting a seed, that's a lesson for life. A seed just can't be thrown anywhere. It has to be planted in a place that's conducive to its development. And then it takes time. It takes time. So you learn patience, you learn how to focus, but most importantly, you learn how to care. And these lessons that we learn in the garden, they travel back to our households and to our communities.
Over 40,000 lots lay vacant in Philadelphia, and it's estimated that between 25 to 45% of Philadelphians are unable to meet their basic needs. I wanted to understand Peace Park a bit better in this cultural context, so I sat down to talk with Maya Thomas, a local historian, about North Philly. So can you tell us the history of the neighborhood a little bit?
North Philadelphia had a really vibrant community in the 1930s and 40s. You had all these jazz musicians, artists like Doc Thrash, John Coltrane. After the 40s, after the 50s, you have the time where lots of African Americans are traveling up from the South. And then in the 60s, you have organizations like PHA, the Philadelphia Housing Authority, who are building the projects that kind of concentrated poverty in this neighborhood. And so that decimated the community in the sense that there's no food here. In the city of Philadelphia, there are a lot of vacant lots. In 2016, when PHA came in for the redevelopment plan, there were nothing but cross signs all over, looking like headstones, actually, of evictions and notices. It was a very, very sad time.
So then when Peace Park came, how did that shake up everything in the neighborhood?
You're talking about an organization who's coming in to say, look, there's no stores here, there's no resources here, and this is what I'm doing for my community. Having the autonomy to say, this is our space and reclaiming it. If there's no grocery store to provide fresh groceries for folks, to actually grow that stuff, to know where your food comes from, to go across the street and learn things about how to grow food. It's really, really powerful for a kid that's growing up. A lot of activism took place here at this park to keep it where it is. And so for anyone that's out there that's trying to do the same thing, I think that you can definitely put your blood, sweat, and tears behind it.
So right here you have our wonderful peach tree that provides us with the most delicious, most succulent peaches in the summertime. And in order to get the real sweet ones, you gotta go up. You gotta go up and top. But we in a competition with the birds because the birds also like them sweet peaches. But we got peach trees, we got apple trees, we got cherry trees. We have a lot of blueberries, we have figs. Us living in a food desert, our response should be to look at it as an opportunity to transform it into abundance. So that's the Peace Park's motto.
And what is the food desert?
Food desert is an interesting phenomenon. It's a place where people live, but there's no good food. The Peace Park has been a source for healthy produce year-round. Does that feel good?
Yeah,
Does that feel good?
No, it really does
Does
feel
that
good.
feel like natural?
So food seems to play a huge role in Peace Park. Can you tell us more about that aspect?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you asked that because food is the foundation. Food is the catalyst, right? You think about it. If you hungry, you don't feel well. If you don't feel well, you're not thinking well. If you're not thinking well, you're making poor choices. Poor choices lead to poor outcomes. Poor outcomes lead to unnecessary destruction. But let's flip it. If you're eating good, you're feeling good. If you're feeling good, you're thinking good. If you're thinking good, you're making smart choices. Smart choices lead to smart outcomes. Smart outcomes lead to paradise. So it all comes back to food. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I totally agree.
So our director of wellness, Lavinia, she is the first revolutionary that I have met that has made healing a major talking point.
One of the things that we did was create a survey. Do you feel like you have enough access to fresh fruits and vegetables? What illnesses or diseases do you have or do people in your family have? How often would you say that you're happy or sad? Do you suffer from anxiety? Do you suffer from depression? They said they don't have access to enough fresh fruits and vegetables. So even for us making those connections and understanding that food is tied to your wellness, once we begin to address that, you'll see a change in the community. You see nature, you see flowers, you see people working together.
You have to be realistic about what has transpired in the United States. People from all different corners of the earth, but particularly Africa and India, were shifted into the Americas to establish and sustain agriculture on land that Europeans did not find easy to toil. The roots of agriculture and people of color is very, very significant. Food scarcity ties into that because if you don't have access to food, then you starve. So we have to look at these things, these poverty as far as mental wellness is concerned.
It starts with the soil, start with the seeds, but in many ways, the emotional and spiritual food that we provide is more important than the physical food. That's what we are building here at the Peace Park. Each one of these little nodes that you see can possibly be fruit.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
To feed a community.
Exactly.
That's the most amazing thing. After spending 2 days at Peace Park, I came to understand that sustainability doesn't only start with good environmental practices, but with a community making sure its members are nourished, mind and body, with good, healthy food. I think one of my favorite parts about this whole thing is that you guys acknowledge the past and you guys acknowledge the history, but more so you're looking towards the future. What can you tell us kind of for the future of what you want Peace Park to be?
I do believe there would be a Peace Park in every neighborhood.
Yeah.
Not only in Philly, but all over the country, and we would dare to say perhaps all over the world. We can use the lens of pointillism. So these little peace parks situated in these different neighborhoods are actually the dots of a new revolutionary democracy in America. If you can create a situation where you have African Americans on land, but they're free, to me that's a revolution.